Hello, everybody. I'm Jeff Johnson,
I'm David Burns.
and this is a Film by Podcast with a special Con Men episode. Dave, the listeners seem to love the Con Men episodes. I wish we could be doing a lot more of them, but we got a special
We
treat
do
for them
too.
today.
We do. I'm excited.
We are just 3 weeks away from the return of Scarefest Weekend in Lexington, Kentucky, and Wes Forsythe, the media director of Scarefest, is with us today.
And hello, and thank you for having me.
Wes, it's awesome, man. Awesome that you're here with us today.
It is. And what's this close to Scarefest? We know you must be very busy. So let us begin by thanking you for making time to join us today.
You
Really
know,
do.
it's weird. Honestly, I don't feel less as busy as I have in years past.
Hmm.
Some of the things I've been helping them with, like I don't do any of their graphics anymore. I don't do some other things. But just like this month is we finish up the film festival. And every spare moment I've had, I forgot how busy I got in that last month to do the film festival just to get all that done. So yeah, busy as all get out, but it's coming together.
Good, good.
Well, we're going to talk all about Scarefest from its beginning some 18 years ago to the can't miss horror event it is today that sees tens of thousands of horror fans from all over the world coming together for one weekend in Lexington, Kentucky every October. But before we get into it, let's get to know Wes Forsythe a little bit, shall we, Dave?
Yeah, let's do that. I don't imagine you become the media directors of Scarefest without having the proper credentials. Tell us about your
No,
relationship.
let me tell you. Let me tell you. It works now. I did a podcast for him. And the podcast it started out as part of another show called The Paranormal Icon.
Hmm.
And then I said, "Hey, Patty, let's do a monthly thing just about Scarefest." And that was Patty Starr, the previous owners. And yeah. So anyway, so that's how I got started, podcaster. Okay.
Hmm.
And then I showed up one doing that show for him. Then I showed up Scarefest. I want to say 8 or 9. Basically, I walked in and they handed me a stack of T-shirts and said, "You're the media director." That was the
Congratulations.
pomp and circumstances involved in my rise to power.
Oh, wow.
Welcome to the
Well,
party, apparently.
Yeah.
yeah. Wes, it's not just horror films, it's paranormal stuff. Can we talk
Mhm.
about paranormal filler for a bit?
Oh my God, you dug that one out of the history archives.
I've watched a
Yes,
couple of them now.
I was doing paranormal filler back when podcasting was hard.
Hmm.
And if you could really dig out the really old episodes, it shows. But yeah, because I'm out here in the country, 5 miles out of town. And at the time, by the time we got what they would really call high-speed internet, I was convinced the rest of the nation would have telepathy. That's how bad my internet is out here. Finally, the cell phone companies, now I'm on that 5G stuff, so I'm there just
Mm.
barely. But anyway, but yeah, I was doing it back. But you know that now doing paranormal filler, I got into it because I like stomping around dark buildings at night. I watched too much TV, wanted to do it. And then I started wanting to share what I'd learned. That was just, and somewhere along the line, I found out I'm not going to say I'm a good interviewer, but I have a unique approach to it. In other words, it's just very, very, when you see me here, I used to wave my hands when I was all audio. I was doing finger quotes on audio. So video came very naturally to me. But yeah, paranormal filler, I started independently. Then I went to Live Paranormal, and I got several shows there. They kept every time they'd have a new project. Hey, Wes, you want to do it? Didn't want to pay me to do it,
Of
but
course.
yeah. But
Nah,
but I gained a lot of experience there, including working with co-hosts. I started one show there for them. I don't remember which one it was, but I said, okay, I'm going to do. Well, actually, I did on Paranormal Filler for a while. I said, I'm
Mhm.
going to have a co-host. I've never worked with a co-host. I'm just going to do it. And so then I learned I like working with co-hosts. It gives me a chance to catch my breath. And then and so I did that for years. But then when Brandon Griffith that bought Scarefest, and I was doing at the time I was doing both shows, Paranormal Filler and um, Scarefest Radio, and he said, "How about if you just give up Paranormal Filler?"
Mm.
And I'm thinking it was the very same time he said, "I want you to go video." And so, and basically, he sponsored me to go take from Paranormal Filler, which I'd played with video, but not much, and then went. And I said, "Well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it my way. You understand? I'm not a blow smoke up your ass kind of guy." And so, I mean, the rest is history. But yeah, Brandon Griffith talked me into going to video and launching Scarefest TV and bringing it to what it is today.
Was it easy
Now,
letting go of Paranormal Filler?
You know, I'm going to say it was, but in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
I thought I should just go ahead and quit while I was at like the high middle.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wasn't at the top. I had no delusions. But I did before the quality of the show started, because now that was really when everybody was getting into podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
It got easier and easier to do. So there's more and more competition. And really, here's a good example. When I started it, and for several years, I was getting booked at conventions around the country
Nice.
because podcasting, my reach was not that common. And then by the time I got done, it got to, well, why should we fly him in when Bob has a podcast? He's just down the road. And I could see that. So, I mean, my popularity was stagnant. I'll put it that way. I wasn't getting any bigger, wasn't really getting any smaller. Same people, listening week after week. So I was looking for a new project that I could dig my teeth into. And so letting that go, I still like to revisit it every now and then because it's still
Sure.
in my roots, my soul, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not sorry that I gave it up.
Okay. Fair enough.
now tromping around in the dark. I hope you've been to Waverly then.
Oh yeah. I've been to Waverly 4 times.
Love that place.
Yeah.
Scariest place
Yeah.
on earth, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah, it's I'll put it this way. As far as just wanting to be scared, yes, great place. And when you walk, what I always say about Waverly, when you pull in the parking lot,
Mm-hmm.
that place, the history just drips off you.
It does.
Of course, one time I went in August, and that's all that's dripping off you if you go in August. They built that hospital. They don't tell you this in the brochures. It's built on the face of the sun. It's
Yeah, I went there in October, so I didn't experience that heat that you're talking about. So
Yeah.
glad I missed
it
it.
gets pretty roasty. But I've had some good experiences there. I never felt like it lived up to its hype as far as the haunting part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once again, I don't want to put it down in any way, and I did have some experiences there. But when you hear people, you can't get through that building without getting scratched or pushed down a flight of stairs, or the little creeper's going to run across ceiling. First time I went, I don't even remember if I got any good evidence the first time I went. Now, later trips, I did get some evidence I would call good, but nothing to any. Although, now we'll say I had one of my biggest jump scares there because there's a door in the hallway that goes to the death tunnel or whatever they call it.
Yeah,
The death tunnel.
There's a swinging door, and if you walk up to it and just go, it'll swing. And we were cleaning up equipment, getting ready to go, and I was trucking down through there, and I created enough breeze to make that thing swing, and it scared the living hell out of me. and I'm going to admit that, but beyond that, like I said, nothing scary there that I've ever encountered. I did actually see an apparition there, but it was one of those things. I was walking down the hallway setting up, saw it out of the corner of my eye, and then I walked past the door. It was like, wait, that was a person. Went back, it was gone, of course.
Of course.
So, yeah.
Wow.
That's frightening. I can't imagine having experienced something like that because I would be trucking it out there as fast as possible. I'll tell you that right now.
Honestly, it was so fast, and and it could have been my imagination. The place does have rough walls. The light will play tricks on it, but I saw a human figure standing over in the corner, looking down. That's what I thought I saw.
Yeah.
No thanks.
No thanks. So what's I've got
nothing.
Yeah. So I've got a question for you regarding the genre of horror. What do you think is the best horror film of all time, and what is your favorite?
I'll tell you what my favorite is. Now, I'm not going to pretend and try to tell you what the best one is because these people have things on DVD that I've never even fucking heard of. Now, that being said, I'm going to give you two, the two that left the biggest impression on me.
Hmm.
My favorite is probably still Nightmare on Elm Street.
Good one.
The
Yeah.
series as a whole, yes. But that first one, I remember the first time I watched that and saw him do that little creepy thing where he's walking down next to the gate or the fence, and
Yep.
his arm stretches out, and and that I remember that had an effect on me when I watched it.
Yeah.
Now the other one, admit, is completely different. The first time, well, now I've seen three of them, I think. Hellraiser.
Oh yeah.
The
Oh,
first
yeah.
Hellraiser sent chills down my spine.
Mhm.
Now it's big, but it was the psychology of it. It wasn't the grossness. It wasn't anything. It was just the whole trying to psychoanalyze the connection between pleasure and pain
Mhm.
and all that kind of blew my mind. But that's my personal little dirty secrets, I guess.
It's two
Now,
good choices. I got to say, the first Nightmare on Elm Street, that's when Freddy wasn't funny. He was scary. I mean,
Right.
frightening scary. So I completely agree with you. Both choices were fantastic. I love both of those films.
yeah. Wes, how do you feel about the state of horror films today? Is there a director or a studio that stands out to you now?
No. Now I'm gonna tell you honestly, I'm a movie fan. I don't get
Hmm.
into the nitty gritty of it. If you want that, get Joe Lewis on here. He's the one that can quote you the cast and everything. My take on the horror industry, not okay, Terrifier.
Hmm.
Love the series.
Yes.
Yes.
So there is some fresh faces out there. There's some fresh ideas, but every time one of these goddamn studios announces another remake, I just want to pull my ears off my head, and
Yes,
just poke
sir.
myself in the
They're,
eyeballs.
they're talking about Amityville now. They're going to remake
Yeah.
the remake. I mean, come
See, now
on.
go back and get bad movies and remake those.
Yes.
Basket
Yeah.
Case could be done much better.
Oh,
Agreed.
Here's one
gosh.
for you.
There,
Yes.
yeah.
You know, um, but to take classic movies like that
Hmm.
and just remake them for that. Now, I'm not just like Halloween. When it was remade,
Mhm.
I did watch the remake and I said, that was a good remake. It wasn't
Mhm.
needed, but it was a good remake. I'll give him credit for that. But I saw no point in it.
Hmm.
It was just another telling of the same story.
Yeah, I agree. It's ridiculous anymore, some of the things that we get. But I agree with you. They need to go back to some of those B titles that could use a good remake
Yes.
too. I
If
I see that.
if a director's out there and he wants ideas, I think it's on I think it's on Amazon Prime, but it's like the 100 worst movies of all time. And 50 of them are horror movies at least. And it's not that they were bad concepts. Some of them were considered classics.
Hmm.
But, yeah, let's do some of the ones that had an idea but
Yeah.
just didn't quite rise to the occasion. The budget was too low. There's a lot of stuff done back in the late 70s and early 80s that the soundtrack alone runs.
Yeah. Maybe A24 will listen, which I love A24, the studio, because they feel like they're doing original stuff and at least trying
Yeah,
to get away from that studio stuff. Maybe they're listening
right.
and they'll do something like that. We'll see.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your first con experience. Do you remember which show you attended?
My first convention, and this was actually, I guess, well, I've been to some little paracons, but my first experience with Scarefest was the second one. I didn't even hear about it the first year. I had no idea it existed. And a friend of mine in Louisville said, "Oh, you got to come to this. It's great. It's all kinds of paranormal people. You'll be networking." Because back then, paranormal was like almost half the footprint.
Hmm.
And so I went, and I was hooked. Yeah, the crowds, everything about it. And then the next year, I said, "I can't wait to go back." And then the son of a bitch that invited me didn't like it. It had already gotten too big for him.
Oh
No,
gosh.
it's lost its character. And I'm like, dude, so but I've been since I've been there every year since the second one. I've missed exactly one.
Wow, that's impressive. Anyone you were excited to see and meet at these before you became the media guy?
Oh gosh. Well, when I was big, of course, back early, I was big into the paranormal field.
Hmm.
So yeah, anybody they had, I was happy to meet. I mean, I remember Amy Bruni. I kind of met Ghost Adventures.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Now, Aaron's great. Zach, it wasn't that, but I'm just gonna say it wasn't that great of a meeting
Hmm.
because I'm not a good one about spending money. when I go to these things. I'm a tightwad. But Aaron, you see him out, he'd be out on the smoking lounge cutting up. He'll talk to you for an hour. But so that's where it started, was me just going to see the people I'd seen on TV from the paranormal field and getting to talk to them, network them, having some good conversations over drinks. Because that's one thing about Scarefest. When we close the convention doors, we're still going for another 4 to 6 hours.
Sure.
And that's been like that from day one. It still goes on today. Now, as I've got to do the show for them, and they occasionally help me get a hold of a celebrity and bring in, I've made some really good friendships with some of these celebrity guests. Now, I'm not saying they would, invite me to their next wedding, but I've got them actually on my phone. I could call them if I needed to. So, but yeah, so there are some favorites.
Good deal.
I'll tell you, I think some of the people in the business, especially in the horror movie industry, and you've said it, like there's some of the most genuine people you're ever going to talk to, you're ever going to meet. We've David and I have made some pretty tight friendships over the past 2 seasons, just reaching out, and then we've met some people at Scarefest, we've done some interviews, and then they're, like you said, they're in your cell phone, you're talking to them, they're commenting on your Facebook post. It's a family. It's a cool community, I think.
The celebrities, over the vast majority of them, are the most just down to earth. The people, they'd live in the double wide next door. You'd never know the difference.
Yep.
Now I will say, horror fans are absolutely rabid. The best people on earth.
They are.
I've watched. Okay, here's a couple things. I've watched fans go up to celebrities and quote their movies, saying, repeating their lines to them. And you can tell the celebrity don't remember the damn script by now. It's been 20, 30 years. And then last year we had Matthew Lillard.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Great guy.
Okay. I helped his photo ops lines on Saturday night. So I got to see everybody, before they got their photo op with him. I watched 14-year-old girls come out of that photo op just absolutely sobbing with pleasure because they had met this man. And I'm going, the dude is my age. We could be on the same bowling team. Jeez. So, yeah.
It's true, though.
Yeah,
they love Matthew.
It is. It's a tight community. Yeah. Matthew's special because he has fans from 8 years old to my age and beyond. He's been in the industry. Robert Englund actually is like that too, but the word's got around that he's gotten to the age now he can't sign it as fast. He doesn't build as much excitement. People don't go to the convention with the high expectations of meeting him. But Robert, you go back to the 80s and then just Stranger Things, a year or two ago. So he is still getting that new fan base, but he's a hot ticket. But I think people have lowered expectations because word's gotten around.
Well, I want to meet him.
He's got arthritis and he just can't sign that fast.
Yeah.
Do you think part of that lowered expectation is coming from we've seen him at a couple shows and his lines are just massive, and you kind of wonder, like, well, I'm not going to get a chance. He's just too hard to reach.
You won't. That's the point. First time we've had him, this will be at least the third time, I'm pretty sure. First time we had him, we let roughly, I'm going to throw out a number, I don't even know if it's right, probably 800 people got in his line. 700 of them left mad on Friday. Fewer on Saturday, but people just wanted to get in, and they'd waste the whole day standing in his line. Now, let me be clear. A lot of that is that he spends 5 minutes with every signature. He doesn't crank them out. He just, he stands there, he talks to you. It's a great fan experience. But that means when you spread it out, not as many fans are going to get that opportunity in a day's time. So there's that. Now, we came up with a system when he was coming back. We said, we can't go through that again. Well, they were ready to come at us with torches because they stood in line all day. So we're the ones that came up with the system that so many places are using now, where you go up and you get a ticket, give you an approximate time, then you don't have to stand in a line. You just show up when we call that group of tickets.
So it's like the celebrity photo ops.
Yeah, very, very similar to that.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
But we follow him around the country. We see about how fast he can sign, and other celebrities too. We
Hmm.
did it for Matthew Lillard last year. The thing on him is he'll stay till midnight.
Yeah.
If
Wow.
he's got people in his line, he'll stand there till he drops dead, I think.
Wow.
We're chasing people out of the building with brooms and torches, and he's still signing. Uh, Mr. England, he's older than me. He's not going to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Wes, you mentioned Brandon putting some T-shirts in your hand and dubbing you the media director. More than that, can you share some details about the role actually? Like, because I got to, you talked about Scarefest TV. What all goes into being the media director for an event this big?
Okay, the I'll put it this way: there's been a lot of mission creep since I took it over. When it started, it was podcast, and then they handed me T-shirts. As the media director, I was in charge. The main thing I was in charge of checking in media. In
Hmm.
other words, when we do give out
Okay.
media piece passes, and so I was in charge. Now at that particular show, all I do is hand them out at a list. Now so the next year, being media director, I had to figure out who was and who wasn't media, and I started from scratch. So we'd put links on there. They give me links, and I'd make sure they were a real podcast
Hmm.
or a real magazine, whatever. Now that the TikTok's out, everybody with 1,000 TikTok followers thinks they're media. That's
Yep.
made it tough, just because I hate hurting people's feelings. But
Sure.
when you sign up for TikTok, they give you 1,000 followers. That just
Uh,
comes with the package. So it takes people can't understand why I don't jump at influencers.
Hmm.
It's because I put my time in. I've
Sure.
had to
mhm.
do this. I know what goes into presenting a quality podcast. Just because you can wiggle your butt in front of a webcam, don't impress me.
So
Well said.
let's talk about planning though. Like when the doors close on a Sunday night, do you get some time off, or are you already making calls for Scarefest Weekend 18?
No,
When's it start?
okay. Now I don't, because okay, first of all, when we shut the doors on Sunday night, now this is a running joke. I shouldn't even call it a joke, but it's our little dig at Adrian, the show manager. All the volunteers leave when we shut the doors, except for a handful of us hardcore, devoted staff members, and so we're packing all that shit up.
Mm.
When you go in and you see those set pieces that we've set up,
Oh,
the 12-foot skeletons, the Stranger Things set piece that we packed around the Chucky Barbie doll thing, all that stuff has to go in storage, and the convention center wants it out there by midnight.
Oh yeah.
So, but for some reason, okay, um, it was really tough. I think it was I want to get my story straight. 3 years ago, it just like killed us because they just Brandon went nuts on how many set pieces that he brought. So the next year he said, no, it'll be easier this year. We've got pods. And I
Okay.
said, that doesn't change anything. They're just down the ramp. So anyway, yeah, and because he thought that, he didn't even have as many volunteers. So it did go a little faster, but it was just same number of people doing more, or different number of people, fewer people doing more work. Um, then the last 2 years, they've decided to something we never did before. They've decided to schedule big events on Sunday after the con.
Hmm.
Big events that our volunteers would sure damn well like to go to. So it's basically now it's me, Adam, and JW. That's our loadout crew.
Oh boy.
And they did it again this year. They're having the nightcap on Elm Street.
yeah.
Starts right at the end of the con. I had one of my volunteers called the other night. Are you going to that? And I went, how can I go to that? Somebody's got to get this crap loaded. So
Right.
yeah,
Hey, we might have to bring our gloves, and so we might have to help this guy out.
I know, right? Pitch in
We'll
and
be there. So
I did actually trade somebody free tickets last year
yeah,
to help load up because yeah, I knew what was coming, and I'm a doer. I'm a
Mhm.
problem solver.
yeah. Well, Dave, I think now's a good time. We'll take a quick break, hear
Yep.
from some of our sponsors, and when we come back, we got more Wes and we got more about Scarefest. Welcome back. We are talking with Wes Forsythe, the media director of Scarefest Weekend, what has got to be the biggest horror convention, ever, Dave. I don't
I
know.
would
What do you
agree.
think? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Scarefest is known as the sinister side of Comic-Con and has been called the ultimate horror paranormal pulp culture convention. So, Wes, take us back to the beginning. Can you tell us where the idea of Scarefest came from, who was involved, and how it was initially put together?
Yeah,
Um,
you mentioned Patty.
yeah,
Yeah.
Patty Starr and Jeff Waldridge were the originator. Jeff Waldridge was a big horror fan. He knew Patty had some money and some connections. And so he went to her and said, let's have a horror convention. She said, I don't know anything about horror, but what if we mix paranormal with it? At the time,
Hmm.
a very novel idea. So she launched it in the Lexington Convention. We've already been a convention center show. But over the years, it grew very organically. Now it kind of leveled off at about 10,000 people. I'm not going to make any bones about it. Go up one year, down one year. I think the biggest year was 15,000 before Brandon got hold of it. But yeah, it was then they I think it by year three it basically gained on average probably 1,000 people a year. Then he bought it in Scarefest 10. That was 2016, I want to say 2017, right around there. And it was tough for a couple of years because convention center he's got a good job. He owns his own business, but he really is not a rich man. And it
Hmm.
takes some real money to put on one of these hotel or one of these convention center conventions. So that first year, it was hard on him. I mean, he had his house mortgage.
Oh, goodness.
He was sweating. And then we had a great crowd, but the bills just were so high from the convention center because nobody was watching the money.
Hmm.
He came into the organization, handed over the checkbook, but there wasn't anybody at that level that was really watching the money. So the next year, he started tightening down. He made sure he knew where every penny was going to find out where he could cut costs. First year, lost a lot of money. Second year, he owned it. Was roughly, I think that was the year he either broke even or just went a little bit in the hole. And by the third year, he started showing a profit on it. And it wasn't by doing it; he was just watching his expenses.
Hmm.
And in the meantime, though, still the crowd was fairly flat, so he knew what he had to deal with. Then 2020 came and COVID,
Ugh.
and of course we had the year off,
Yep.
but it did give him a chance to kind of take a breather, build his bank account back up, um, and think about the organization and how to put on a show. So he got to really at that time he was able to think about the kind of show that he liked, the things he liked about other horror conventions, but you couldn't find any one horror convention that did them all right.
Hmm.
And he started doing that. Plus, in the meantime, he kind of became a whiz in internet marketing. Got to give him credit for that. Um, and then he was scared to death. The year after COVID had calmed down, we were still under mask. It weren't mandates, but yeah, it was mandates.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Brandon was scared. He said, "I don't think people's going to come out." I said, "Brandon, people will come. They're wanting out of the house so bad.
Mm.
Don't even." Now that was one I called right. I said, "People want out of the house. You
Hmm.
don't even need to have celebrities. Just have a big party. They'll show up." But he did. He had celebrities. We had the convention. And yes, we pretty much doubled our normal attendance that next year. And every year since, we've grown about 50%. Now,
Nice.
we're not going to grow another 50% this year because we're out of room.
Right.
We're at capacity. And even though we've got more of the building, that's one thing I want to get the word out to people. Yes, we rented finally the only thing left is Rupp Arena,
Oh
and that's
gosh.
25,000 seats and no floor space.
Yeah.
So we're not going to rent that yet. But
Yet.
we've got every other inch of that building, but did not add to the number of tickets we're selling. That's to make room, get it back to that easy flow that we were always known for.
Hmm.
Well, it's like you said, it's grown bigger year after year. And it's not just about meeting your favorite fiend or scream queen. It's more than finding that vendor that has the rare sealed copy of Halloween 2 on VHS. Uh, can you tell us about some of the great activities that you guys provide? Because there's a bunch of
I
them.
knew you were going to
Bunch.
ask me that. I should have wrote them all down. Okay. After hours events. Of course, we have a launch party.
Yes.
Now, if anybody ever been to Scarefest before 5 years ago and the launch party sucked, we got it fixed now, okay? But I've never been to a convention that had a good launch party. And we didn't. They just always sucked. Um, and then basically we said, well, let's quit putting so much energy into it, and we just had horror trivia in a bar. Place is packed.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Of course.
that's our launch party. Then on Friday night, let's see, we've got of course the War and Occult Museum is
Yes.
coming this year.
Exciting.
We'll have a ghost hunt basically with that. You can actually buy a ticket to ghost hunt it. Bring your little gadgets and lighty flashy things, and they're going to do what's called the it's one with the headphones. Gosh, that shows you how out of it I am on ghost hunting. Estes experiment. Yeah, the Estes method. They're going to be doing that. We have a celebrity that night. Shane Pittman's coming in on Friday night to actually, it's more of a participation with you. It's not even his event, but then also Talk is Jericho with Chris Jericho is one night. War Museum. Of course, that's Saturday night. Also, we're doing two of them. We have a ghost hunt schedule. We just scheduled it for Friday night off site in case somebody doesn't want to spend that money. We've got actually one that's $55 maybe down at the Living Arts and Science Center. It's well over 100 years old. It's almost 200 years old. That'll be going on with Aaron Sagers. Talk Scary to Me Live is coming up on.
They're coming back.
Nice.
Oh yeah, they made bank. No, they're coming back. I'd love to say it was for the fans, but no, it's a very popular event.
Yeah.
We've got of course gallery readings during the day, psychic gallery readings. Warren Museum. Oh, another ghost hunt on Saturday night down to the Talon Winery, and Killers on the Rock. Now this is another launch activity. Killers on the Rocks is on Thursday, and basically it's a whiskey tasting with celebrities. Kane Hodder, Ari Mihailoff, Felissa Rose. They go on a whiskey tasting with you. We put a lot of effort into making this our weekend a destination weekend. In other words, yeah, it's a horror convention, but we want you to have something to do the entire time other than get signatures and shop.
Sure.
Of course, we do have the film festival I mentioned. We have this panels, seminars. Seminars usually lean towards the paranormal still, but the panels are greatly tilted towards the horror end of it. So there's a lot of stuff. And of course, then we have our VIP party on Saturday night, and then we have the new Nightcap on Elm Street event that we've just added this year in honor of Robert Englund. And basically, it's hors d'oeuvres and drinks with Robert Englund.
Nice.
Which sounds amazing, but we'll all miss because we got to pack the show up, right, Wes?
Yeah. Yep. I'm not. I don't get in on that one. I didn't even make the VIP party last year because I volunteered for Matthew's line building for his photo ops. I got out of there at 11:30, and I said there, and I actually give our security guy, our logistics director Adam, credit. He went to the party.
Oh, okay.
I did not go. I did not go to the VIP party.
You're a busy man. I'm sure you get hardly any
No, I was
sleep when it
tired.
comes to
I
that.
was flat out. I was dog ass tired.
I'm sure you
So
were.
I went over, sat in front of the hide a few minutes, had a cocktail, went to bed.
I don't blame you on that at all. So I've noticed you're very active on the social media pages for Scarefest Weekend. You responded to comments about everything from guest requests to the little things that can be found on Scarefest FAQ link, and you're doing Scarefest TV. Are the interactions online ever helpful in guiding your decisions for the next year's event?
I will say we are one of the conventions on this isn't okay on Facebook. I'm in charge of, or I shouldn't even say I'm in charge of it. It's in my wheelhouse. I answer most of the questions that go on the so-called business page.
Mm-hmm.
Now the group, I do answer some of those, the fan group, but largely we have some volunteers that do that because we get a lot more interaction on that page. Now, on that, I will say that we actually, people don't believe we do this, but we put a guest post up right after the show. That it'll go out there a week or two later. Request your celebrities here. And we try to drive everybody rather than just make random posts, I want so and so.
Right.
Put it on there. They keep a spreadsheet. We have somebody that actually goes through every day and sees what's been requested and keeps a spreadsheet. Now, I'm not saying it's a shoe-in, but it really does affect the direction we go the next year in booking.
That makes me feel good.
That's one way.
Yeah, I like that you guys do that. That makes you, fan friendly, basically, is what it is. You're listening to the people who come to that convention. You may not get everybody that people request. Of course not, because that's just not the way it works, But it's neat to hear that you keep a spreadsheet like that. That's impressive.
Well, now, another thing I want to point out to people, we are basically an 80s, 90s horror movie convention, okay? On that end of it. That's when the classics came out.
Oh, yeah.
We've dipped our toes in the years into the more modern stuff, and sometimes we got our toes bit off. So I just want people to understand that's why we don't go after some of the current stars, is because first of all, they don't want to do conventions, but even though they're popular, we can't count on them drawing our fans in. Here's a quick example. Tobin Bell.
Yeah.
We had him 6-7 years ago. I had a fan walk up to me and said, "You mean Tobin Bell is your headliner? You all got to do better."
What? Wow. Come on.
He'd say, "I like the movies," but said he's not a horror star. And now we can hardly get Tobin Bell because he's always so busy doing horror conventions.
Right.
And he is one of our most requested guests. I do want to point out, we tried to get him this year, but he was already booked elsewhere.
Well, yeah, aside from Tobin Bell, though, is there a specific guest you've had in mind over the years that you'd like to see attend, or perhaps someone that you'd love to see make a return?
Evil Dead guy.
It's Bruce
I should
Campbell.
be better with names. Yeah, Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
He was actually scheduled to come back originally this year, but something came up, he couldn't do it because we thought that would be really cool. I have Robert Englund and him. So I look for him to be back anytime. He's very popular with the fans, and the man is an autograph machine. The thing I'll say about him, and really it's a lot like Matthew, but he whips out autographs incredibly fast, and every fan walks away from him going, "That was such a great experience." He has somehow just found that perfect balance between engaging the fan and cranking out autographs. But really, there's nobody we've really tried to get. Now, we've tried to get some. We had some we wanted this year, to be honest. I'm not going to drop names because, hey, if I drop them, somebody say, "Oh, he said they're getting them." Or, that'll be the first thing that happens. Or I'll say we're not getting them, and then they come to find out we end up with them. Because we were waiting on filming commitments and we just never got them done. But we had a couple of more really big stars this year that I hope we do get in the near future. But I'm afraid I would love to drop the names to you, but it would just backfire on me, so I'm not going.
Oh yeah,
Alice Cooper is one we finally gave up just trying to get. We get his agent says yes, he wants to do the show. Yes. I'll talk to him. Yes, we just got to wait on his touring schedule. And every year it falls through. We finally just quit asking.
Damn.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I need him on my Friday the 13th poster, part 6. Come on, Alice Cooper.
Yeah, come on, Alice. Listen, just because you mentioned Bruce Campbell, I'm going to shoot my shot right here. I'll tell you something. If you could reach out to Sam Raimi at some point and just have him bring in the Delta Classic, the car from the Evil Dead that shows up in every Sam Raimi film. Because you guys have some amazing cars that show up. Some of the greatest vehicles from horror. There's always going to be an Ecto-1. I've seen the DeLorean. You guys had the CUDA from Phantasm last horror.
Yeah, I never make it to the end of the building. I forget what they have every year. But yeah, that's the dead opposite end of where I'm stationed through most of the convention. But yeah, and even some of the more frivolous ones. Supernatural.
Oh gosh, yeah.
The Mystery Machine. We used to have the Mystery Machine every year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's of course Christine. We get Christine about every other year. Christine doesn't like to do same con 2 years in a row. So you can count on Christine next year.
Fair enough.
Now, Wes, for the first timer heading to Scarefest, are there any do's and don'ts you can offer about meeting your favorite celebrity, or maybe what to expect on the convention floor?
Well, first of all, anybody that has not been, and this actually you can use our website and then apply what you learn to wherever you want to go. Read the FAQ on our website, which incidentally I wrote, and so you can tell there's little snarky remarks in it every now and then. But then they have put together a lot of information on the website. It just has to do with going to conventions in general. But the main thing I would wear comfortable shoes.
Oh yeah,
that's rule number one. Rule number two is actually deodorant, just for the sake of it. But beyond that, all I can tell people is be patient. In our case, expect a crowd, but we do everything we can. Last year, we jacked it up. Friday night, we weren't expecting the mad rush of Matt Lillard fans.
Yeah,
and they just hit us broad on, and we did. We dropped the ball. We had it fixed by Saturday. The line was back to moving the way it should. But so we've actually instituted a new plan this year just to get people in the building early, just to make sure they're stage ready to go. Even if the tickets mess up, we've got extra time now to work out the problems because we'll have you in the building.
Good.
But as far as we're an easier one as far as meeting celebrities. Robert England still is going to be very, very difficult. But we have found the magic number. Everybody thought Brandon was crazy when he went north of 80 celebrities, because there was always a tipping point there where the celebrities couldn't make money. It spread it out too much. But we was able to, or I shouldn't even say we, I was not responsible for it. But he did manage to keep the crowd growing and grow that number of celebrities with it. And by doing so, now when you walk up, if you look at, oh my God, Felissa's line is 10 people long. Oh, look, Kane's empty. And you go to, and you've got another celebrity. With that many celebrities, there's going to be more than one you want to meet. And so you get to choose your line that you want to stand in, and it really keeps it going smoothly.
Well, one thing I like that you guys are doing, you guys are getting groups of people from particular films. So you can just basically go down the line and fill up a poster because you've got so many people. I love that. I really do.
Well, see, that was Brandon. We were the same as every other convention. We just took who the agents threw at us. We'd have a headliner. We'd try to get some supporting cast behind the headliner. But we just really didn't put a lot of effort into getting reunions. But Brandon, once he bought it, Brandon's a horror fan. That's why he bought it. He honestly, if it was up to him, he'd close the paranormal down. But his wife is a paranormal fan, so that's what keeps that involved. But he knew what he wanted out of a convention, and he's one of those guys that will buy a poster just to take it to the convention to get 5 signatures on it.
Yep.
And then somewhere it occurred to him, wait, if I could get the entire cast here, and in words, you're looking at a fan building the convention that the fan wanted,
and you can
rather than just being all over the map with the celebrities.
Yeah, you can see it. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm a giddy as a kid seeing the Monster Squad people and how many you all got. What, 11? I think it's 11.
As far as we know, we're the biggest Monster Squad reunion ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I read that. There's not been one this size ever, and you guys got it.
Yeah, and a lot of that now, some of that's dumb luck, because once you get so big as far as a convention, you mentioned before, we don't know we're the biggest convention in the country. Because when we were, I went to a couple of the ones that said they were the biggest, and I'm like, you couldn't fit our line for the bathroom in this convention. So I don't. But at the same time, Texas Frightmare, great convention. They've moved to a convention center now, and I think we're on par with them. So I'm not going to say we're the biggest, but I'm saying we're in the team. We're still running for it.
Well,
Uh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Wes.
no, I was just about to say, now, what was I even talking about when I went off on that tangent?
No, we were talking about reunions and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That Brandon
just
was
getting
So
going.
getting the whole cast together.
yeah,
Yeah.
but so I was talking about dumb luck of it. A lot of times, he'll have a reunion in mind, and then the agents find out that we're booking that reunion, and then of
Hmm.
course they start contacting and saying, "Hey, I've got the person that customer number 3 that was standing in line. I've got the dead lady from the caterer." It's really, but they do really. They find us a lot of times. We'll have people, and he's like, that's never done a con before, and they say, "Oh, I saw you're doing. I was in that movie," and yeah, we know you were. Where the hell have you been? And we find them that way.
That's awesome. I love that. You know, you guys, I think when we went to you guys, what, 3 or 4 years ago, we fell in love with you. We really did.
Hmm.
We love this convention very much, and we look forward to it every single year. So we're ecstatic to come back again this October for sure.
Well, if that's a lot of our goal is, and this is one thing I'm in business.
Hmm.
The repeat customers are what makes your business. You can get new customers, but you got to give people a reason to come back to you.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I'm hoping that we've done that. We, like I said, now some people first, if they were last year on Friday, if that was their first con experience with us, they went away probably saying, "Well, I'll never go back there." I'd love to say, give us another shot,
Yeah.
because we will do it right. We will fix it.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
yeah, we want people to come back.
we were in that line on Friday, and
Hmm.
those things happen. It didn't phase us one bit.
No.
We're fans. We understand what you guys have to go through to run a convention like that. So, but to hear you guys recognize that and are fixing it, that speaks volume. It really does.
Well, it was a quick reaction too last year too with that Friday
Yep.
because
Yep.
I know when we got to the doors, like I was like, man, they kind of course corrected quick there, didn't they? They
Hmm.
kind of fixed it right on the spot. So
Yeah, well,
we get it.
yeah. Basically, I think what happened was something got screwed up, and then they tried something that made it worse, and then finally they kind of got it under control. Now, I wasn't there Friday night. Brandon was all up, panicky and everything, and well, I shouldn't say that he was upset,
Hmm.
and so I said, "Okay, I will be there Saturday morning." I'm not a morning person normally, he said. But I said, I'll get up bright and early. And I did. I do like my breakfast, but I got over there and I took the reins and I got the best compliment. Somebody went, posted online. Well, they got the line working. It was going great until Wesley left. And I don't think that was true, but I was out there. I was greeting people. I got a postcard right here all the way from France. Somebody came from France and saw me directing traffic and greeting people and getting them across the street. And he said,
Mm,
"You don't see that at conventions."
no.
No.
The guy that it's not even my damn job. The media director, the guy that does her podcast, is out there bringing fans into the building, making sure the lines are right. And I'm not, and I don't want to take credit because that is the way our volunteers are. Our
Hmm.
staff, that's one thing we get a lot of compliments on. When you walk up to one of our staff and ask them a question, they're instructed. They are not allowed to say, "I don't know."
Good.
If they don't know the answer, they're going to escort you to the person they know that will.
And I experienced that last year. I went up to somebody at work because I had a question for them, and they didn't know, but they said, "Hold on a second, let me go find such and such. Let me get this
Right.
answer for you." So I know exactly what you're talking about. That's exactly
Yeah.
what happened to me. So kudos to you for that.
Well, we think that's very important for the fan experience.
Hmm. And it is. And that's why we keep coming back. And that's why you guys keep growing because obviously you care about it. You care about the fans and you care about
Mm-hmm.
the guests that are there. You can see it because the guests are having fun. I mean, everybody we met last year and the year before that is just are having the time of their life. You want to sit down with them. I mean, you could sit there for hours with them if you had the
Mm-hmm.
time and they had the time, to listen. It's a great experience for fans. It really is.
We
So I
do
got
our
a
best.
you do. So I got a question for you. I mean, we've had many questions for you, but I got another one for you. Have you guys thought about inviting anybody from like cryptids and stuff like that? That genre. Have you thought about that?
Yes. Okay. How can I explain this? We actually had some people from the cryptozoology field
Hmm.
booked last year. I'm largely in charge of booking the paranormal side, and we fold that and ufology into that side of the building. And I had a couple. We announced them, and then they called me. We had them out at like a month, and they called and said, "We got to cancel. We're filming." They
Mm.
just let me know we're filming, so we lost them. Then we had another convention in Lexington that's a month after us. That the minute they were on the phone, the minute we announced the cancellation and booked them.
Hmm.
And now and they're going back this year. I'm pretty sure they're just trying to keep us from getting them. That being said, we had the mountain monsters coming. And I realize it's not the serious side of it, but we do look at that. And like our speakers, there's usually somebody that will be speaking about it. They may not be famous, but we do try to make sure that they're an authority, you might say.
Sure.
But we are trying to get we want to get more into the cryptozoology and UFO type fields.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd probably be, I'm not going to say it'd be easier to do, but paranormal, as far as paranormal TV, it's slim pickings now. A lot of it's went to streaming, but as far as what's on TV for the wide audience, they've canceled everything.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Sagers, other than Ghost Adventures, Aaron Sagers and his Paranormal Caught on Camera, I believe is the name of it. That's one of the last paranormal shows left on TV.
That's crazy.
But there are still UFO shows, and
Mm-hmm.
I believe the crypt, some of the Bigfoot shows are still going. So we'll
Yep.
work on that harder.
Yeah.
Just try to stay current with that. It's funny, in horror we don't have to stay current.
Right.
In paranormal, we
You
do.
do.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I'm a big cryptid guy. I love Bigfoot, Sasquatch, anything to do with that. I'm a huge fan. I have been since I was a little kid. And I would just love to be able to get some of those groups who I see on YouTube and stuff like that. There's a
Right.
group called Small Town Monsters.
Yeah. Now
I love
we
them.
had what's the guy's name that's in charge of that?
I can't think
God,
of it
I
off
know
the
him
top
too.
of my head right now.
Anyway, but
He's from
Small Town
Ohio.
Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's from Ohio.
Yep.
I've known him for years. We actually had him 3 years ago, 4 years
Okay.
ago. Yeah, so it is on our radar.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. Good deal. So looking back over the years of Scarefest Weekend, as the media guy, do you have a favorite moment you can share with us besides being busy all the time?
That's a tough one. I'm going to give you a generic answer first, and then I'll be more specific.
Okay.
Generically, I make really good friendships with the celebs that come on my show.
Mm-hmm.
Melanie Kinnaman, we've kept in touch. I've known Dustin Perry from the paranormal side forever. We keep in touch. Beatrice Bupley, who incidentally I am absolutely in love with, that woman. I would murder my wife tonight. But then Felissa Rose, of course, she's everybody's friend.
Mm-hmm.
But every time, when she sees me, she'll jump out from behind her table and give me a big hug. But I think she does that with like everybody she's ever known. But so generically, it's just the friendships I've made and getting to see those people again. But specifically, and this fell mostly towards the Felissa side of the argument. I basically made a bet that I said I will dress up as what I call the douchey 80s character from Sleepaway Camp.
Uh-oh.
Which incidentally, I've met him. He's not. He's a hell of a guy. But so yeah, cut off shirt, Daisy Duke shorts, the works. And son of a bitch somebody found a loophole in the way I made the bet, and I said nope, I'm going to stand up to it. So yes, I actually did cosplay, Sleepaway Camp cosplay.
Oh no!
It was just 2 years ago, and I was sucking my gut in. So yeah, but that's probably right now. That is probably my most memorable experience, and the reception it got. Yeah, honestly, It was Catherine. I hope I don't mispronounce her name. Gosh, Kath, I hope she doesn't watch this. Hate to cost you a viewer. But anyway, one of the other stars was there, and Catherine Cammy. Yeah.
All right, now she's a listener, Dave.
Yep, now she's a listener. Woo! You saved it, Wes. Thank you.
Okay. I got to take pictures. I mean, she wanted a selfie with me. Felissa got a selfie with me, all because I was in my little tight pants and sucking my gut in with my cutoff shirt.
I was about ready to ask you if there's photo evidence of this, but clearly
Yeah.
there
Oh yeah,
is.
it's
So
out
we're
there.
good.
It's on the
Yeah, we'll
internet.
be
Yeah,
looking
it
for
is.
that. Yeah.
It exists on the internet.
Good deal.
Well, as we wrap things up, let's talk about what's next for Scarefest because if this event wasn't big enough, next year, 2026, there's a mid-year event planned. What can you tell us about Spawn of Scarefest?
Not a lot, just because we've been so tied up in the planning for this
Hmm.
that they haven't let me in on what any of the planning that they made on that show. Um, it's going to be a hotel show. It's going to be much smaller.
Hmm.
Now, I mean, we're talking 20, 30 celebrities tops. Just because, that's about all we can fit in the hotel.
Right.
But Brandon kind of he was wanting to do an extra event, and he wanted to do something to take us back to our roots. That smaller crowd, the more intimate.
Hmm.
Um, um, you know, uh, we're not going to get 30,000 people, 40,000 people in this hotel. Matter of fact, when we told them how many we were expecting to show up, they went white. So we might have to work on that. Um, because I told Brandon when he bought the business, I said, Brandon, you got 9,000 people that if you bolted the door shut, they would break the windows and come in. You've got that covered. But yeah, that's it's going to be a smaller version. Uh, it's going to be more of a I want to say a party atmosphere.
Hmm.
Most of
Okay.
the after hours stuff will be more geared like we're already planning. They've got fire pits at the hotel, and we're going to be sitting
Oh,
around the
cool.
fire pits and and just see what all we can get into outdoors. It'll be in June. So I don't have a lot of details on it, but I can tell you it is going to be a completely different animal from what we are now.
Okay.
Takes me back to when we first started going to conventions back in the late 90s, where you had those hotel events and they were very intimate. They weren't gigantic crowds, but they're, decent crowds. And you had more time to like sit there and talk to the guests and take your time
Right.
with them and stuff like that. And I am absolutely ecstatic that you guys are going to do that. And I'll definitely be there for that. I can't wait.
Well, I can't wait, Dave. I know we got 3 weeks to go.
Yeah.
Scarefest Weekend is taking place this October 17th through the 19th at the Central Bank Center in Lexington, Kentucky. Tickets are on sale now, so head to www.scarefestweekend.com to get your tickets, secure those celebrity photo ops, find out all about the great things happening during the weekend.
And listeners, are you heading to Scarefest Weekend next month? We'll be there all weekend long, and we hope to see you there. Who are you hoping to see? Let us know on social media. You'll find us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. You can check us out at www.afilmbypodcast.com for our film and TV articles and our entire library streaming free. Write to us at afilmbypodcast@gmail.com with your questions, comments, and concerns. We may just read your response on the show and send you some Film by swag.
Wes, I got to tell you, man, this has been a blast having you
It
on
has.
and
Well,
talking
thank you for
Scarefest,
having me.
talking
It was
scary movies,
fun.
talking paranormal. Anything? Where can our listeners, if they want to find out more about your side of the business, like like with the paranormal stuff, anything you can offer
I
us?
don't do paranormal anymore. I got tired of watching. I got tired of reviewing evidence, watching 16 hours of myself talking to walls. You know, it it so I do a little bit of that now on the we'll call it the celebrity side, if you will. But
Yeah.
as far as actual ghost stuff, no, I couldn't even lay my hands on most of the stuff I collected. I will say if you want to find out more about Scarefest TV, we've
Yes.
got a website now. It's scarefestradio.com because Brandon never offered to buy me a new domain. So it's still under scarefestradio.com, but we've got the full archives up there. It's searchable. And you can kind of see how I cut up every goddamn Friday, as I like to say.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yep.
We appreciate you being on here. We thank you, and hopefully we run into you at the show.
Yeah.
You'll be there, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
all right.
I will be
Whether you're
there.
directing traffic,
You'll either see me outside line building, or now if it's later in the day, just wait at the top of the escalator. I
okay.
spend 90% of my time going from the Scarefest TV booth, which is where the big column is.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, that's where our booth is. From there to the second floor, back and forth because I run the second floor. And so yeah, just stand at the escalator and eventually you'll catch me.
Okay, we'll remember that.
We'll be on the lookout for you, Wes.
Yep.
This has been great.
Yes, it has.
And for those of you out there listening each week, following us on social media, and subscribing to our Patreon, we thank you, and we'll see you at Scarefest.
See you then.